Question number 7, Chris Auchinvole.
Mr Speaker, to the Minister for the Environment, what progress has the government made in addressing the problems for homeowners and businesses of slow and delayed processing of resource consents since passing the Resource Management Simplifying and Streamlining Amendment Act 2009?
The Honourable Dr. Nixon.
Mr Speaker, delays in processing resource consents got progressively worse over the last decade, from 18% in 2002 to 23% in 2004 to 27% in 2006 and to 31% of consents being late in 2008. In the last year, only 5% of resource consents were late. This means that in contrast to the 16,107 consents being late in 2008, there was only 1,807 late in the last year.
Chris Auchinvole.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, what steps and progress have been made in addressing other problems over resource consent processing, such as councils granting themselves extensions of time in nearly a third of consents and extensive and repeated requests for more information?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the government's legislative changes limited the circumstances when councils could grant themselves an extension and also on the number of further information requests. I'm pleased that since 2008 the number of extensions of time has dropped from 15,000 to 5,400. The number of further information requests has dropped from 22,000 to 13,000. These improvements show the government's first phase of resource management reforms are working well in supporting the government's agenda for investment, for jobs and for growth. The government is planning a further phase of reforms to further improve the way in which the Resource Management Act works.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Subsequent to the Minister's last supplementary answer, can he detail some of the policy points involved in the legislation currently being developed in the Ministry for the Environment for introduction in December or February, if in fact his government is returned?
Mr Speaker,
the Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the National Party will be publishing an aggressive policy that will make further important changes to the Resource Management Act. They are changes that will, for instance, deal with the issues identified in the Technical Advisory Group's report on urban growth, on issues of infrastructure, on getting greater collaboration, and I invite the member to watch this space. The second phase of resource management reforms will be at least as effective as the first phase.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Can he give this House an assurance that the items which the Ministry for the Environment are currently working on are not part of the National Party manifesto?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
I can give the member that absolute reassurance, albeit the Ministry is developing work on the Technical Advisory Group reports on both urban design and infrastructure, but the policy of the National Party is being written by the most capable blue-green caucus that this Parliament has, of 18 members who are focused on making the Resource Management Act work, rather than when that member was Minister, when things just got progressively worse.
Question number 8, the Honourable Steve.